Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Elevator Podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. If this is your first time tuning in, I want to thank you for stopping by. I hope that you can get a little bit of encouragement, inspiration, and more than anything, growth between us and you, the listener. But if you're here for the continuing series or the continuing seasons, better said, this is my 6th season in. I'm so excited to be here with you guys yet another season. So without further ado, let's get this episode started. I got 2 good friends of mine. One of them you know already, another you do not. But after today, you will know him. And so these people have been more than an inspiration and encouragement to myself. And I know one of them actually does this for not a living, but he does it on the daily. So without further ado, here we got my good friend. Well, yeah, he'll introduce himself.
Oh, it's me, Rob, again. We're back for another season with you guys.
Co-host. Yes, sir.
Man, so you pull up to Vegas.
I pull up to Vegas and I say, Rob,
can we record in person?
Let's run a podcast, man.
So we were planning on doing this entire podcast this season remotely since you're all the way in the middle of nowhere, USA.
Missouri, Stockton. Shout out to you guys, but not really because I have no idea what I'm doing. And I'm just kidding. It's a vibe. It's a vibe.
None of us know what you're doing there, bro. But, man, I was 100% ready for us to start live streaming today and for everything. And you threw me a massive curveball.
Hold the horses until next week. Just wait till next week.
We'll see.
But yeah, how you been? How's everything?
Bro, I'm tired.
Yeah.
I think I say that the beginning of every season.
I think so. He's like, man, I'm tired.
Bro, it's because you
No. I didn't bring him coffee today, man. So I owe my guy some coffee.
You owe me the Dutch Bros.
I owe him the Dutch Bros. So everybody knows Rob. Now we get to introduce another good friend of mine, and he'll introduce himself as well.
Just Julien here. Known Juan for a good little bit now. Met him because of his wife being best friends with my wife from since elementary school. They linked
on
us
and
up.
Off relationship.
Yeah. She kept moving away. No, we linked up and it's been going ever since.
Yes. I love his company more than anything. And along the way, he's teaching me the ropes of, some things that we're working on the side. So
yep.
I appreciate that. And obviously, I appreciate you, Rob, for being here and being another being my co-host for another season. Sorry, I can't think. I need the Dutch Bros, guys.
It's because you've been without doing the tech so long. You're like, Rob, I can't do it without you no more.
I know. But I'm more than grateful to be here another season. So let's get this episode started. It's the beginning of the year, right? It's Love is in the Air, February 14th coming up. How is your guys' love life? I know that's weird, but
wait to throw a curveball.
We gotta talk about it.
It's just the way you phrase it. It's like your love life. It's like
you don't know what to expect from him when he said that. You're like, okay, he can say anything now.
Juan showed up with no notes today. He showed up with nothing.
So fun. I mean, you guys know this. You guys hear the rattling of papers every time I'm in here. I do paper notes, and so me. I wasn't prepared to do a podcast.
But you called me to do a podcast.
I know, and I was like, you know what? Let's run something. Let's do something that's unexpected. So yeah. So how's your guys' love life?
So me and my girl are coming up to 5 years in July. Woo! We've been dating for a long time now, and man, I'm really happy with her. I really love her a lot.
She's gonna start singing, "Oh, the single ladies, oh, the single ladies." And then she's gonna want the ring, man.
We got plans.
There we go. That's my guy.
And there's a reason she came into this relationship knowing it's gonna be a long run. I told her
it was for a long run, man.
I told her I need to get my bachelor's. I need to get my bachelor's before anything else.
I like that. I vibe with that.
Nah, man. Met my wife in freshman year of high school, and met her in biology class. Saw her and I was like, wow. She's very beautiful. And I started talking to her. One of my friends linked us up together. And we started talking and been together ever since. Now we graduated community college together. Her with a general education degree, and then me with software programming degree. And then now we're both working towards our bachelor's and everything, and been together for this year going to be 7 years now.
That's dope, man. You guys went to CSN here in Vegas?
Yeah, we did. We went to CSN.
Dope. I got my associates there as well.
Yeah, we love it, honestly. It was great for us, and she's still going to go there.
It's a dope campus. Which one did you go to?
We went to West Charleston.
Bro, yeah. I love that one because it's basically baby UNLV.
Yeah, baby
literally.
UNLV. Yeah. Literally.
So I'm glad that my last 3 semesters were at
especially with the new student union and everything.
Yeah.
Love that place.
I only got it for like a week.
Really?
Because like they opened it the last week of my last semester.
Dang.
It's like, dang, I should have came next semester.
I was a part of the student government there, so I was a part of the team that got it open and everything like that. So it's actually pretty cool to do that. Yeah.
That's hella dope, man. The new one, it seems hella sick. And then the same one at Cheyenne.
Mm-hmm.
The Cheyenne campus also got a really dope one. But UNLV is where I'm getting my bachelor's right now. And bro, I love it there so much.
Mm-hmm.
I
have a lot of friends that go there, and a lot of them, it's a love-hate relationship with UNLV. Some people love it, and then some people are just like,
This is what I feel like what the love-hate relationship is. It's a love to the campus and the student life there and just the vibrancy, and I hate toward the administration. I love the school so much, where there's some decisions the administration has made in the year and a half I've been there, 2 years now. Bro, I'm just like,
I wish they could have done better.
Bro, I feel like every college is dropping the ball when it comes to COVID stuff.
Oh, man.
Yeah, definitely. So I want to start off this podcast with a quote, and it goes like this. I think perfection of love is that it's not perfect. And that's by the most amazing artist ever, Taylor Swift. Just kidding. No, but that is her quote. But the thing about love, and I want to talk about love because it's coming up, and it's weird because it's my first episode. I wanted to talk a lot about... I wanted to talk about the encouragement for the year. I wanted to talk about what are some aspirations that we have, some goals that, we're driven to do. And I think that most people got the idea that, they have their set on something and they want to accomplish it. Mm-hmm. We all understand that because of, New Year's resolutions and yada, yada, yada. But I wanted to talk about love because it's so important in our lives, and also it's coming up in our calendar for Valentine's Day. And I got something cooking up for this month, for this year this month.
It's fitting that you got 3 men in relationships, which means none of us here at this table know what the heck we're doing Valentine's Day.
I love it. Let me see. Yeah. Okay, let me see. You've been with your wife for how long now?
Well, in a relationship?
Yeah.
So 5 years.
Okay, almost 7 years.
5 years.
That's like 17 years of knowledge, and we don't know nothing.
No, but the funniest thing is that's basically 15 years. But according to men knowledge, it's like 1 year.
We don't know anything.
We don't know nothing.
Yeah, but I want to talk about a little bit, and this for the guys, but the girls can hear, you know what I'm saying? But
our girlfriend, your wives, my girlfriend's gonna be tuning in. Is like, I bet. Let's see what these guys are talking about.
Let's see if he tells their secrets. Their secrets. No, but
they're looking for the Valentine's Day gift in here.
Oh my God, my wife's already hinting and stuff like, babe, can you just let like a week pass and then I'll let you know what's going on. Relax.
We can't plan that far out.
She's like Walmart. As soon as Christmas ended, literally the next day, you put out everything for Valentine's Day. Like, come on, yo. But I want to talk a little bit about the relationship based on, the perspective of the guy, and we're going to move into something else. But how have you guys dealt with, some challenges or circumstances that were, troubling in a sense for you and your wife? Like, how have you guys kind of like maneuvered or hurdled over those obstacles?
Right. Personally, obviously meeting my wife so young, was like 14. A big hurdle was actually like dealing with the whole parent situation, her living with her parents. Obviously, I mean, you ain't living on your own at 14, I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
But obviously dealing with having to work out and practically give my opinions and the person that I am and show that to her parents and make them believe that like I'm the person for her, right, and that I'm more a long run kind of person. because I didn't through high school, that's the only relationship I ever had, and I'm glad it was. And I told her, like, if I feel like this is it, and I'm cool with that. I don't need anything else if I'm happy where I'm at, you know.
Right.
So being able to have that kind of relationship and being able to build off of that was really great. Obviously, comes with hurdles with the parents thinking, oh, you're just around for your own needs. It's not really for the relationship. But then, year after year, they start figuring out, okay, yeah, maybe he's in this for the long run. Maybe it's legit. And then obviously they saw that I proposed to her, which I did at the Paris here. At the Paris restaurant inside the Paris because
pre-COVID.
Yeah, it was way before COVID. No, this was like 2 years ago. But she was born and raised here in Vegas. Had never seen the Bellagio fountains, and I was like, bet I'm gonna take care of that. So I called up the restaurant. I was like, hey, I want to get a seat at the window right across from the Bellagio fountains. And we went, and I was like, I have a surprise for you. And she got to see it and everything, and she was like so excited seeing the Bellagio fountains for the first time. And that's when I popped the question, and she said yes. And ever since then, it's just been a ride.
So the most interesting thing is, it wasn't really about you proposing. That was the most exciting thing. It was the fountains. She lived here her whole life and didn't, see this. But how about you, Rob? How what were some challenges and things that you had to kind of hurdle over?
I feel like the biggest things that I've had to hurdle personally in my relationship is being able to understand time management when it comes, because Juan knows how much I do in general. Like, I'm not a person who's like very,
you can't sit still.
Yeah, I'm always,
I got
you guys see what I just did for today's episode.
yeah.
So, and I'm not a very communicative person. Like, I don't communicate well what I'm doing. So a lot of times, like, I'm doing everything that I should be doing as a boyfriend, but I fail to tell my girl what I'm doing. Right. And then it causes just conflict, not because like she's mad at me, really, she's mad at the fact that I didn't say anything.
Right.
And it's just, that's the biggest thing that and honestly, I'm not even still good at it. I'm still struggling with that.
Yeah.
And like, if you're watching, babe,
I love you.
I love you. I'm sorry.
No, I definitely understand that. I think that communication, as cliche as people say communication is, like, oh, what's the key to your marriage that's been lasting for 50, 60 years? And they're like, communication, and as cliche as it sounds, I think that's really an important aspect of your relationship. Jocelyn, if you're watching this, I love you too. No, but I mean, Jocelyn is more of a person like you, that she doesn't really know how to communicate certain things that she's feeling, certain emotions or certain thoughts that she, is dealing with at the time. And I'm more of a person that, like, I just say it how it is, like, I'm sorry if it hurts you. I'm sorry if you feel a little unease or bothered about it, but I'm just really open like that, And so what has communication, or how have you seen that communication can, dissolve a problem or escalate it?
Well, now that they both said it, I have to say, Jaylene, I love you so much. Love you. I know I said it third, but
say the best for last, okay?
No, personally, communication has been a really important thing because I'm a very open person about how I feel, and communication has always come easy to me. I've always been able to talk to people and tell people how I feel, and always people know me as that guy that, like, they can come to about something and know that I'm gonna tell them the honest truth without having any kind of bias. I just completely unbiased myself, and I said, okay, this is how I feel about it. I think that this won't be the right idea. I think this will be. I've always been open about that, and people expect that out of me. So Jaylene, my wife, her understanding that I'm open and I'm straight up gonna tell you how I feel and what I think about something, even if you might not like it, I'm gonna have to say it, and you take it however you want. You can either tailor what you're gonna do based off what I say or not. I mean, that's obviously everyone's opinion, and that's totally understandable. I have a different opinion about anything. Right. But the whole communication aspect, it has helped us a lot because I am so communicative, and she has a problem being able to communicate some things also. But as of late, we've been talking a lot more and more about how to communicate issues with each other and coming to each other when we have a problem about something. And the big rule that I have with her, if you have a problem with anything, you'd say it right then and there, and we take care of it right then and there. I don't want to go to bed at 1 a.m. talking about stuff that happened throughout the day. Take care of it there. and we move on from it. We talk about it, fix it, and then move on from it. So then it's not a pile of stuff that keeps piling on top of each other and it blows up.
Yeah, I think that. Oh, sorry about that, Rob. You know, having these conversations is so important in a sense that I've learned, you know, and coming into a relationship, it's not just all rainbows and sparkles glitter and cherries on top. You know, as beautiful as relationships are, this is a key like voice that I always heard in my head when me and Jocelyn are going through a tough patch or whatever. It's be slow, be fast to listen and slow to speak, because you know, when you're gonna say something in the heat of a moment, sometimes you don't really mean what you're saying, you know. And so I think that that's a very important
but it has effect for a long time. All you'll hear about what you just said for the rest of your life.
That's fact. Yeah. And what about you, Rob?
I feel like there's a clear struggle in communication when it comes to people who are more closed in and people who are closed out. I feel like for the most part, couples pair off in people who are one is the closed homebody and the other is the extrovert.
It's like negative and positive just always come along. I swear to you.
It's because the extrovert needs to pull the introvert out, and that's what we love. They're like, oh man, we have so much fun together. And then the introvert, but May's like, hey, no, stay here. We make y'all have like the nice cozy feels. And I feel like that the reason that there's a big struggle in communication when it comes to that is because of the fact that we are independent people. It's not even with the type of temperament or personality we have. We're independent people.
Right.
And we enter relationships, especially like I feel like all of us entered our relationship in the middle of us developing our personal identity. And it's not that it's a bad thing, but it's because of the fact that we are
still developing.
Yeah, we're in the midst of figuring out who we are independently.
Yeah.
There's always moments where we struggle to express what it is that we are doing, what we're thinking, and that struggle causes conflict. And because I feel like a lot of the arguments that I end up having aren't arguments on the idea of what we're arguing about. It's about, why didn't you tell me?
No, 100%. No, I totally feel that.
Yeah. And you know, alongside of that, you know, I want to ask you guys, what have relationships taught you in correlation with your life? You know, as for me, I think that, you know, you're talking about identity, and what Jocelyn has taught me a lot, you know, within these recent months, is basically how to treat people. You know, because, you know, coming into a relationship, you know, or even a marriage, you're only thinking about yourself for 18 years of your life. You know, like, what do I want to eat? What do I want to do? Where do I want to go? You know, and as selfish as it is, that's just how our decisions are made on our daily basis, whether it be 18 years or 14 years. You know, some people get married at 30. Not mattering that, I think that we just are selfish beings like that. You know, and so now in a relationship, Jocelyn has taught me a lot of, it's not just about you now. You know, it's about other people.
Oh yeah.
You know, and so it's kind of like that.
Especially you as a parent.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Big difference.
Exactly. It's kind of like I don't know if as younger you guys get candies. You know, you're with a bunch of friends, and you're the only one who has candy, and everyone's just looking at you. You know, and you're like just opening it. And you're like,
it's like having gum in class at school.
Yeah, exactly.
That's exactly what it is.
You're like, should I eat this, or should I let somebody else eat it before me? You know, like, should I pass it around, and then you only end up getting one, and you're like, oh man.
This is why I've seen this on like all over TikTok because I'm a real estate agent now. I see real estate agent TikTok. I see there's a bunch of houses that have hidden rooms with mini fridges.
No, the man caves, the secret man cave.
It's a sock drawer for some people. You know, they got their sneakers right there. Like, is my wife watching? Like, you know, she's nibbling at night. But yeah, man, that's just how it is. So, what are some things that, you know, have been in correlation to your life that your wife or your girlfriend have taught you guys? You know,
for me, I feel like the biggest thing that I've learned in this relationship with my girlfriend has been how to be a person, like an individual.
How to have emotions.
How to have emotion, yeah. Because like again,
I'm still working on that. I'm still working on that.
Literally, he's
she knows I'm still working on that.
Right.
I'm still working on it too, and it's just understanding. Look, like I was saying earlier, we're in the middle of developing our personal identity, and especially as Hispanic guys, having emotions is a struggle. And like, there's points where I feel like I've been emotionally constipated, and then like we're in the middle of the biggest like just dramatic stuff that we
need that laxative to let us go, you know.
And it's like, I don't know, we're just in the middle of an argument, and I just break apart. And she's like, what are you talking about? And it's like, I don't realize in the moment, and I don't feel like she realizes in the moment either, that it has no longer become about what the argument was. I just let out a bunch of emotional baggage because I struggle to show emotions otherwise.
Where did this all come from? I asked you if you wanted a Snickers or not. Nah, just kidding.
You're not you when you're hungry.
What about you, Drew?
Personally, something that has taught me by being in a relationship with my wife, especially for so long, is not only the aspect of, first of all, how to deal with people, also the whole situation with being able to show more emotions, because boy, am I still working on that. I'm like, to her, I'm like Mr. Roboto. Like, I know exactly what to say at the right time, or I work on making sure I know what I'm saying at the right time. And it's like, sometimes you just got to let that go. And that's just a big thing that I have learned so far. But even bigger than that, in my opinion, just realizing how important having someone else there is. Having that person beside you that, because as men, we're always taught, like, you know, you got your back, you know, you take care of what you need to take care of, and that's it. Like, but
like nobody got you, like you got you.
Exactly. And to some aspect, that's true. But there's a whole other side of, like I've heard before, you know, people always say, oh, behind a great man there's a great woman. And that's the honest truth. That's the thing that I've begun to live by. Because sometimes, man, like, people see you for who you are. Like, from outside, they see, oh man, this person's so successful, like they did all this, they did that, but then they don't see all the struggles that you've been through throughout that whole journey to get there. And your wife, your girlfriend, whoever it is, they see that, and they have gotten you through that. And I personally, she has gotten me through so many things that I didn't think I could have gotten through. And having her has taught me the meaning of having friendships, relationships with people that are strong, and people who are trying to build you up and not tear you down.
Right.
That's a big thing.
Yeah, definitely. You know, and alongside of that, you know, I think that having a wellness within your whole components, and by whole components, I mean, you know, your mentality, your emotional level, your spiritual life, and also your physical life, you know, all this can take a toll within a relationship, you know. And I want to get practical with people now. You know, we talked a little bit about us. You're starting to understand, you know, it's not just, we're not just here talking about, you know, talking about someone else. And this is our actual lives, you know, that you're hearing us talk about. And as, you know, as jokingly as we're talking about it, it's hard sometimes, you know. It's not, there's some days that are really dark, you know. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about having a time, not only for yourself, but a time to keep whole. You know, have you guys experienced, you know, in your lives, in your marriage or relationship, that you feel not drained, but you feel a little burnt out, you know, because you're trying to juggle so much that sometimes everything just falls apart, you know. And for me, having a clear mindset, having your emotional level, I'm sorry guys, stable, your spiritual life, you know, just shining through, and also your physicality, that you feel great, you know, you don't feel fatigued or burnt out. What have been some tricks or some things that you guys have seen that helps you take that relationship and take it to the other level? You get what I'm saying? Like for me, right now, what has been helping me a lot is I wake up early and I drink my juice, and you know, like, my wife's tired from my son at night, so I take him in, you know, like 7 in the morning. We're working out till 9, and he's with me. My wife is resting, and then I drink my juice, and then I read a little bit, and then my wife's up, and then I give it to her because she's a mom. So here you go. But that has helped a lot, because it gives me a time where I can, you know, heal some things that I'm dealing with, you know. And so what are some tips and trips that you can help or allow people to experience as well, to help the relationship or better the relationship?
For me, I feel it's because of, again, like
don't let it be video games, please. Nah, you got the Minecraft on there, like,
bro. I don't got time for video games.
Not right now.
I wish.
Yeah. No, like you can ask my friends. Like we started a Minecraft server. And it's like, oh, I love building a Minecraft.
Right.
Like, I'll build you the house. And like,
haven't done it yet.
I haven't logged on since.
Hey, bro, are you gonna get my my Minecraft?
I'm homeless right now, bro. I'm waiting for the house.
No, but it's like, for me, it's more so than just like, oh, in regards to my relationship. It's also in regards to everything I do. Like I was saying, I'm a busybody when it comes to I can't like
stand around.
Like I always have a fidget spinner. You always know when we record, and it's like I didn't bring it, and I'm just like with my AirPods case just because like I'm a person who's always just needs to be moving, and it's just how my brain works. And for me, I have this time where I need to be able to sit down and just pray to God just for me to be able to have a grasp on what I'm doing. Not just like, oh man, I need it for my spirituality. Yeah. I need it for my spiritual growth. I need it because otherwise my brain's going at 3,000 miles an hour.
It's going to blow up.
Yeah.
It's going to blow up.
And
it's not a Tesla, bro.
And I don't have any clue what I'm doing. Like I said, it's like not just like, oh, I don't know what I'm doing in general, but like I don't know what the plan is for today. Yeah. Because instead of focusing on what I need to do, I'm focusing on, oh, my room's a mess. I should clean it. You know what? TikTok. Oh, you know what? Those shoes I saw. It's like my brain's just firing at all cylinders, and I have that moment. And that by itself not only has helped me in my personal life, but also within my relationship, because it gives me an opportunity to have intentional conversations with my girl, not just like, oh, hi, how are you? Like that's
meaningful conversations.
Yeah. And that's one of the biggest things that early in our relationship that I struggled with. It wasn't because like, oh, we were struggling to talk and like have good chemistry. It's like, no, we have it. It's just there was moments where like, oh, I want to talk to you, but I don't know what to say, but I also don't want to put the effort into doing it. And then sometimes like I'd put so much effort, but it was too much. Like I'd fire way too many, like I'm asking 1,000 questions. I'm throwing so many memes, and like I needed to find a good balance. And still, honestly, I'm struggling to find it sometimes, but the effort's there because I want to be a better boyfriend. I want to be someone who can show my love to her, not just like in moments, but consistently. That it be a constant, stable thing. Because I feel like that's one of the most important things for a relationship. That love isn't sporadic. That love isn't just in the heats of moments, but love is consistent. And there's gonna be moments where love can be felt more, but there's also moments where love isn't felt less, but love is back to the standard.
Definitely.
I mean, mine's probably not gonna sound as wholesome as yours. That was wow. I'm sorry. But personally, the things that kind of keep me level-headed, because I'm the same exact way. I'm always have to be doing something. Like my mindset is like the way I work is I always have to be working on progressing towards the next thing. That's always been my thing, and sometimes it's tiring. It's really tiring, and it gets draining. And my relationship sometimes has roadblocks because of it, because I'm so tired from the things that I'm thinking through every day, like 3 million thoughts an hour. And then I get to having a conversation with my wife, and it's like I'm already drained. And then we're talking, even it could be about food, like, oh, what we're gonna eat tonight, and she'll be like, oh, I don't know. And I'm like, come on, man, again? Like, can you figure it out? Because I've thought about so much already today. And it becomes a thing where it's like, you know what, let's work on this together. So what has been a big thing for me that helped me with being able to kind of clear my head is, first of all, music, because it's the one thing that keeps me from having to think about everything else. So I put my headphones on and I'm in my own zone, you know? Like, I don't know if you ever seen, like, back in the days, the LeBron, like, Beats commercial, he puts the headphones on and he's in this whole other world. Like, that's how I feel, you know? Like how athletes always say, like, oh, yeah, I put my music on and it's a whole different world. That's how I feel, 100%. Then on top of that, it's I'm a very, very avid user of YouTube. I love watching YouTube videos. It's my...
Yeah. Oh, my girlfriend does not understand.
My wife doesn't either.
It's like, what do you watch? It's like, oh, I'm watching people play this video game. It's like, Why? Why don't you play? Because I don't have time to set up the entire thing to get my friends together and all that.
Right.
But you know what's cathartic for me to watch someone play the game I want to play.
Like you're living vicariously through that person.
Yeah, and also they're funnier than I could ever dream to be.
Exactly.
It's like, babe, I have to get some classes to be funny. Relax.
No, and
give me a year.
No, and that's the
man.
thing. Like I fall through like deep holes in YouTube where like, why am I learning about how a trench is made? Like, I don't know. I don't need to know this information, but
Bro, I know exactly what you're talking about because the other day I found myself on a video from a YouTube channel called Cheddar. And they talk about what is under New York City.
Okay, so out of curiosity, what is it under New York City?
Bunch of cables, the subway, and then water tunnels.
Vegas is way more interesting what's underneath of Vegas. Those videos, I've went through them like when I first moved here, I went through those for like hours. So I practically know the whole map underneath Vegas at this point. Do I remember it? No, I don't.
No, I sometimes forget the
see that-
streets in Vegas.
Do you guys see that there's people living under there?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's
our tunnels are too big.
That's insane, yo.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, I haven't seen this crazy side note. Anyways, I haven't seen Rob in a while, and I just gotta say, I love the glasses, bro.
Thank you.
You're welcome. That was a weird side note, but we did a live, I think 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago, and your internet like went trash out of nowhere.
He swears it was my internet, but I promise it wasn't.
It was probably his internet.
It was
No, it
probably
wasn't my. Anyways,
You can see the letters loading up as they come up.
You see the little circles just running around. No, but we're in the live and we were talking about yearly themes. And I want you to briefly kind of go over that just so the listeners could get a vibe to it, and then we'll go ahead and jump into the next thing.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk directly. I'm doing tech stuff at the same time. You people keep looking at me on the cameras.
Nice.
I got my iPad right here. I kept it in shot. I was originally gonna take it out, but I'm gonna talk just directly. Y'all not even in the picture anymore.
I'm not here.
I'm gonna pick my nose real quick.
Your mics is on. I'm gonna boost them. So a yearly theme is something that I took straight off of an educational YouTuber called CGP Grey. He's very like popular. He has a podcast called Cortex, in which he started describing this idea of a yearly theme. Instead of having an annual resolution, you set up a theme in which you base all your goals to be able to point yourself in a direction that you want to grow. Basically, understanding I'm not going to be perfect, but everything I do is building toward this goal. And at the end of the year, there is no I did it or I didn't. I worked to it and I did at my best that I could have done. And that's kind of what I've been doing for the last 3 years. And I introduced it to Juan 2 years ago now? Or last year. Last year. We've only known each other for a year, even though it's because it was 2020.
It feels like I've known him like a couple 5 years. I'm not on a cap. But yeah.
It's because 2020 felt like a whole
forever. Yeah.
But I introduced it to you last year when I was talking about a year of growth and stability. And for me, like I think it went good for me. I set myself pretty stable.
Right.
And we talked in that live that this year is the year of me. Like, who am I? What do I want?
Identity. Is the substance of it.
Basically, so there's also like, you could also like set like subtitles to your thing, especially if you're super nerdy. So like for me, it's year of me, subtitle, who are you and what do you want? Uncle Iroh. So that's kind of how I'm kind of pushing my year towards. It was really inspired off of an Instagram post that my friend, I call him Mitch, his name is Esteban. Bro, thank you for that post. Inspirational as heck. It was, I'm not going to be a better me. I'm going to be the most me that I can be.
I love that.
And I was like, you know what? I need that.
Yeah.
I need that in my life.
For me, gearing up in December, I was like, so what is it that I want to accomplish this year? You know, being in a new place, being around new people, and also, you know, trying to just not only provide for my family, but building a plan for all of us so that we can all grow together, you know, because as my wife says, it's not just about me anymore, it's about us. And so I don't know why I was hearing a podcast and they were talking about that, and I was like, Rob, remember what you told me? And I was like, yo, I want to do that. But the way I break down my year, it's not, you know, a yearly thing, it's a quarterly thing, so every 3 months. And so for me, this first quarter is it's entitled Faith and Patience. Okay. You know, and under that is deep rooting, like the subtitle is deep rooting. And so I want you guys to think about that. What are some themes? What are some things that you want to accomplish this year?
And I'm going to tell Juan
Yeah.
to link in the show notes a video. I'm going to send it to him. I sent it to
No,
you.
you sent it to me already,
Yeah.
so I will definitely link them into the show notes.
It's a really good video. It's from CGP Grey, and he goes deep.
It's animational.
Yeah.
It's
like I think like
entertaining.
It's not even 5 minutes long. Go ahead and watch it.
No, it's like 2-3 minutes.
Yeah, it's
like
super
2-3
short.
minutes. Yeah.
And just go ahead and watch it. It's really a concise way of understanding. And if you're a nerd like me and you want to understand more,
I love how he says I'm a nerd.
I own it.
He titles
I
a
bought
nerd.
these glasses. I bought these glasses.
Specifically for it.
I can't say I'm not a nerd. I bought these glasses.
Right.
It's my identity. But if you are a nerd and you want to understand like a deeper, like especially in a conversational way, go to, I think it was the themesystem.com, and they have a bunch of links to like the podcast episodes that they even start describing these kind of things.
Yeah, I'll definitely link into it.
Yeah.
But what about you, Julian? What are talking about themes or coming into the new year with New Year's resolution, whatever you practice, what are some things that you're looking forward in 2021?
Growth. As simple to put it, it's growth, honestly.
Yeah.
And a big thing for me owning my own business is growth when it comes to the financial aspect. That's a very big thing, and I'm pretty sure that's for anybody, regardless of owning your own business or working for someone.
Right.
It's always growth for me. Now, on top of that, there's also the growth aspect of the relationship, making sure we get to that next step. We move through issues. We work through the great times, work through the bad times. It's just the way it is. It's growth nonetheless, So,
Definitely.
and on top of that, I feel like if I had a little subtitle there, it would most likely be helping others grow. Because I've already gained so much knowledge. I'm 21, by the way, but I've already gained so much knowledge from.
Bro, you're
things
younger
that
than
I've
me.
experienced.
I thought you were like closer to Juan.
No, I'm 21. Like I've gained so much knowledge from things that I've already done, from the experiences I've had through life. Because life was not easy. I won't complain, because I know a lot of people have harder. But I've learned so many things. I want to teach other people how to do those things. Yeah. So regardless of it being, how do you start your own business? How do you grow that business? How do you source things? How do you figure out what your market is? Whatever it may be. And then on top of that, the whole relationship thing, being in a relationship since I'm 14 all the way to 21, now turning 22 this year. You learn a lot of things along the way. So even though people that are older than me might be like, oh, he still got a long way to go, I've learned a lot of things along the way, and I would love to help people grow when it comes to that. So growth aspect, and then subtitle, helping others.
I feel like on that note, you're saying like people who are older than you, I feel like no one has the right to say like, oh, he has a lot.
Right.
No, like we're older, but a lot of us are. But I know people older than me who are
nothing,
so immature, who know
exactly.
And I'm not trying to bash anyone, but it's like we should stop measuring understanding and wisdom based on age and more so on experience. Like there's people who are younger than all of us here, and they have lived through so much more.
Exactly.
And it's just we need to be able to seed room and say, hey, look, just because I'm older doesn't mean I deserve the place at the table.
Age is not wisdom.
Exactly. Yeah. And I feel like that's something that we as a culture, especially within Hispanic culture, we have, and it's like, I feel it's the most broken thing.
It is.
Yeah. And I feel like that's something that we need to restore within our culture, within us. And I feel that's something that I'm like a long-term theme that I'm putting. So I've set, because I'm in the middle of I'm going into the middle of my 20s. I have set a decade-long theme. It's like, who do you want the next generation to be?
Yeah.
Essentially, what are the parts of the Hispanic culture that I am preserving? What are the parts that I am gonna leave
break
aside?
The cycle.
Yeah, break the cycle. And what are the parts that I'm going to change in saying like, look, the root of this is great. The application that I have seen, not maybe not in my family, but in the culture,
right?
It needs to be tweaked. Right. And I'm going, because I feel like a lot of Hispanics either go way into the culture,
or way out of it,
Right. There is no middle ground Hispanic. It's either you're whitewashed or you're beaner. And
I respect that. I respect that.
And I want to find a good middle ground, not just because like, I don't want to be whitewashed, but like I don't want to lose my heritage, because there's a lot of pride that I have saying. Because I know the stories from my parents, and especially now that I reached the age where those stories, like, you were younger than me, and
Yeah.
you like what I gave a word in the beginning of the year where I was talking about legacy,
Right.
and what does it mean to live up to legacy. And I feel like one of the biggest words that regarding that was my uncle told me, he's like, what we lived through was not normal, and we lived through abnormal times so that you guys can have the opportunity to live in a normal time.
Right.
That's good. Yeah.
I mean, a simple way that I look at that is take where you came from to where you're going. That's a simple way of looking at it. Take who you are, where you came from, and make and grow that to the place where it's going to help other people understand you can be who you are while also progressing to be who you want to become at the same time.
I love that.
Yeah. Now for the last portion of this episode, we talked a little bit about love life as men, which is no knowledge at all. We progressed a little bit into the New Year resolution.
You know, if our girls watch this episode, they're gonna be like, y'all need to do an episode where all of us come in.
If we do that,
It's going to be like 3 hours
it's over
long.
for us. It's
gonna be like
over
3
for
hours
us.
long.
No one's gonna want to watch us.
They're like, so they're taking over, right?
Yeah, and so this last portion, I really want to leave it open to us to talk a little bit about something that's in your heart, something that you're going through. I don't know, like something that's practical for people. Because for me, this podcast is a lot about encouragement. It's a lot about inspiration and also just growth. Because I want people to achieve their dreams. I want people to get to the level that they want to be at. It's not about how good I am. It's about how better I am from yesterday. Because a lot of people think that success or a status change is what makes a person successful.
Not true.
Which sometimes that's what society wants to make you believe that it is. Having the car of the year, or having the bigger house, or having the better looking wife, or having XYZ. That's not what makes you successful.
No.
I've always believed that success actually comes internally before it actually begins externally. And so the journey from internal to external is actually the most important part, because your character, the things that you learn along the way, the losses, the wins, the successes, the big failures, nobody wants to talk about those things.
The L's into lessons.
Yeah. Everybody wants to talk about the mountaintop. So I want to give my audience a practicality of whatever it is that you're going through, whatever it is that you're learning, whatever it is that's in your mind, in your heart, that you're battling with, or that you've already overcome. Let's talk a little bit about that, So I don't know who wants to start.
I want to say something that for me is important. I feel like a lot of us talk about, like, especially I was talking earlier, like consistency in love, but
Which is hard.
yeah, it is.
Very, very hard.
But I feel like we get so drawn into the level of consistency. Like, it's good to be consistent. It's good to have habits.
Right.
There's a book that I recommend to everyone who's going into college, Five Habits of Successful People.
Oh, I read that thing so many times.
Yeah,
It's
it's a really good book. But the thing is, I feel that a lot of us have taken habit into an unhealthy level.
Okay.
We
Expand on that.
we become people who are so caught up in the idea of being consistent in things,
Like a
Right.
routines.
like
Okay.
like what's your morning routine? What do you do this? And I fall into it. Like I follow a bunch of like tech influencers and a bunch
Same.
of podcasters,
Right.
and I'm always looking to like, what's your gear? What's your routine? What's like your workflow? And what
Try to
apps do
mirror
you-
to have
Yeah.
their success.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's like, I try getting everything that they have.
I get
But
what
the
you're
thing
saying.
is,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
never going to be about the things. In the same way that we talk about, oh, you don't need the best equipment. You don't
Right.
need the best quality.
That's facts.
But it's also, you don't need to work like someone else does. You don't need to do the work that someone else does. You need to do the work that you do. And for me, part of that, that's why I disappeared for a bit. I brought out this little journal I have. And
I
this
love
is
it.
This is where every day I'm journaling.
Can we read the first page?
No.
That's good.
Actually, the first page, yeah, go ahead. It's
blank.
no, it's the where I describe my yearly theme, and it's like I'm writing into it every single day. And
I love that.
And I'm describing, like, I have like little daily things I'm writing. Like I'm writing what did I get done today?
Right.
That's the first thing. It's like, it's not about what did you do or what should you have done, but what did you get done?
So mark my words, that's gonna be a book one day. I'm not even capping. I swear to you.
What you're speaking of is the progress bar. That's the way I look at it. It's the daily progress bar. And I kind of started thinking that way pretty recently. With growing the things that I'm doing so fast, it's what am I still putting in to make sure that what comes from it just grows, you know? It's that daily progress bar of what am I doing today that's going to help that thing get to where I want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like part of that is when we are in that mentality, it's like, it's good, mentalize that, have that. It's like, oh, I have this goal. But in this book, it's already February, but I have only written about it like 10 times.
Yeah, I'm the same way.
And one of the biggest things I need to teach myself is it's okay. It's okay that, like, hey, you know what? You didn't do it today. You didn't do it. Don't bother. Like I teach this when it comes to devotion with my youth. I teach them, if you miss the day in reading scripture, don't try to double up. Because it's not about like, oh, I need to be consistent in this way. It's like, well, you noticed like, hey, I messed up. I missed the day. But today I didn't. So I'm going to read my chapters. I'm going to talk to God and I'm going to connect. And in the same way, like for me in this, I'm like, oh, I'm going to write every day that I can, every day I want. And sometimes I've made this so like it's all positive. Like I'm only looking at the positive, but there's days like I go into writing this and in the moment I'm writing, I'm in the most negative state of the day.
Right.
But I'm trying to look into the positives. And even like in the moment I'm looking into it and like, man, this is still so negative. But I look into it the next day or the next time I write into it, it's like, man, I remember I was having such a bad day that day. But like, look at all I got done. Look at everything that I did. Look at how like there were still some good things in it. And we need to find a place where we are able to not just think of what am I doing to accelerate the growth, not just like to make things happen, but there needs to be a level of personal joy that we need to accept.
And I think that, you know, alongside with that, a lot of people are not only yourself, but a lot of people are battling with identity crisis. You know, a lot of people don't know who they are. They don't know what they're doing. They don't know what their purpose is. They don't even know if they have a talent and gift. You know, a lot of people questioning like, God, why am I here? You know, and some of them aren't, you know, 12, 13, 14 years old. They're like 25, 26, 28, you know, like they don't know what they're doing. And so for me, my practical advice is do what Rob is doing. You know, I think that, and I've always said this, you know, I've always said, if you really want to get to know yourself, sit down, get a piece of paper and a pen and start writing. Juan, what do I write? I don't even know, you know, like how to journal, this, that. Like, just start writing. Why? Because most of the things that you need to heal from, most of the things that you need to work out, it's going to come out in that ink, you know, and most of the things that you write down, those things you don't even think about throughout the day.
Exactly.
Because you don't give yourself the opportunity to think about those things.
I'm going to say one more thing.
Go ahead.
Before we go over to
Julie.
Julie.
Oh, no, you're good. You're good.
It's because like this last segment has a lot for me to explain. There was something I was reading. I forgot how exactly they were wording it.
Right.
But we, growing up, were one of the last generations that were allowed to be alone with their thoughts. Because the generation following us got their iPad thrown into their hands at a young age.
Right.
So they've never been alone with their thoughts the same way we have on a car ride. Like when we were like going to church, it's like a 5-minute drive and we're looking out the window and we're just like contemplating existence as a 5-year-old.
Oh, I still do that. I still do that.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and it's like the next generation isn't growing up with that, and they're struggling to communicate as a result. Like I know that study as a result of what I'm studying in school.
Yeah.
But in the same way, we as a generation, because we're in that in between, we know what it is to be alone with our thoughts, and we're scared of it. So we numb ourselves to it with the same thing
technology.
with our technology.
Right.
Like a lot of times I find myself just, I have my phone and I have my podcast. Like I'm going to put my headphones in, I'm driving and I'm going to go and listen to my podcast, even though I can plug my phone in and listen to it on speakers. But there's something more comforting to me about having the headphones in over listening to the speakers of my car.
It feels more personal.
Exactly.
Right.
And I feel like part of that is going into what you're saying, Juan. And it's like, we need to write down and say like, hey, we need to be like giving ourselves a moment to be able to heal, but also write what's honest. Like I feel like, especially when we set up like goals, like how I did in my journal, that we try to fluff it. We try to fluff it. It's like, no, it was good. I do my absolute best to write pure, honest, hard facts into my journal.
Yeah.
because I wanted to look later and either be able to see the hurt I was in or see the joy that I could not see or the joy that I was experiencing. And I want to be able to have that true, honest moment.
So this season we had to do a technological advanced episode. You know, like how is technology really affecting us? I think that's very interesting. You know, if you really take a look at it, I remember one time a professor of mine was talking about this, and he told us to pair it with somebody. And have you guys ever
make me do my thesis in this class, in this podcast?
No, like for real, like if you really think about it, it's so weird to stand in front of a stranger, right? Someone you don't know, and just look at them in the eyes. Just stare at them. Like I promise you, you're gonna like try to look away because it's awkward. It's weird. But it's not that it's awkward or weird. It's just we have never given ourselves the opportunity to like, you know, have that communication between a stranger, someone you actually know. You know, because we're so caught up in our technology, we're so caught up in the world, running around with our routine, with this and that. We gotta go to this meeting. We have to go over here because they need me. That we don't really, like you say, take a moment to sit down and have thoughts to ourselves, which is crazy to me. Anyways, what about you, Julian? This last segment, what do you want to talk about?
Well, to kind of go off of what you guys are talking about a little bit, sometimes I feel like I think way too much when I sit down and think of my thoughts. And I think sometimes that becomes a problem when you're a textbook overthinker. It's all about finding a healthy balance, you know, because sometimes I just sit down with my thoughts and I start stressing out about the things that I'm thinking about. And it's like, dude, chill, you know, and it's what I'm working on is trying to catch myself doing that so I can stop it beforehand and then be able to work on it and figure out what are the important things that I'm trying to figure out about myself in that situation. But now changing it a little bit, obviously, you guys want some really wholesome stuff, like extremely wholesome stuff.
Yeah.
That's what Juan loves.
I love that.
I'm a very comedic person. I believe in comedy, like being the escape from a lot of things, you know. So the way I've learned since I was young, and a lot of people know that about me, who really know me, I go through pain. The way I progress through pain that I'm going through or hard parts of my life that I'm going through is by laughing at it. And it's really hard to get used to, and it's really hard to even learn. But if you can master being able to laugh at the pain, like people say, and people always like, oh, that doesn't make sense. When you start doing it or trying it out, it kind of brings a new comfort. Because like the way I always look at it is, if you yourself can change the way you're looking at something to a different point of view, to be able to laugh at it yourself, you can start to realize how much power you have over your own mind. And a lot of people don't think about that. How much power you have to really be able to look at the situation you're in and turn the point of view and be like, okay, I was looking at it the wrong way. Let me look at it this way, you know? And that will help with a lot of hard situations that you might be going through, or even the good ones, to see, okay, this is the point of view I'm looking at. Flip it and be like, okay, I see that. And sometimes it will cause you to be able to see ways you could solve a problem that you never realized. And that's something my wife is helping me with, and I love you for that. It's because I overthink everything. Yeah. So I'll be going through something and I'll be like, and I'm like, oh my God, I can do it this way, this way, this way. And she'll be like, why are you doing all that? You can literally just do it this way. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, like, I think comedy is, I have two things to say about comedy. Or just, you know, number one, I'm really bad at this, and especially with my mom, you know, not really with my wife, but every time my mom, you know, I think the last time we were around, all her kids, she sat us down and she just started lecturing us. But beforehand, like, I was just like, what does she want to say now? And I just started laughing and laughing, like, Mom, what do you want to talk about? And I just kept laughing and laughing, like, and she's like, Juan, this is not funny. I'm trying to be serious here. And you know moms, like Hispanic moms. But I'm really bad at that with my mom. And sorry for that, Mom. But I don't know. It's just something like, it's the same thing. Like, I'm not really a person who, I stress, obviously, like any other person. I have thoughts that bring anxiety, like every person. But I just don't really, like, I go through the motions and stuff like that. But then I take a look back and I'm like, why am I gonna stress over this?
Mm-hmm.
How about I just laugh and go over there? You know what I'm saying? Like, because at the end of the day, I really truly believe that the things that you control are the things that you should control, and the things that you can't control, you should leave it in God's hands. Because at the end of the day, what are you gonna do? Stress about it? Cry about it? You know, like you can't do anything else about it. You know, and so second thing I want to say is for me, he's not my favorite, but one of my favorite comedians is Seinfeld. You know, and it's mostly because of the show. But he has this show on Netflix, and he was with Eddie Murphy, and they were talking about how, you know, some of their skits, how they were all created, what was the process. And Eddie Murphy was like Delirious. I don't know if you guys heard of that one. That was one of his special, Delirious. And he said, you know, I was going through such a dark time when I was writing that skit. Mm-hmm. And you find that interesting because he's making someone else laugh out of his own pain. Mm-hmm. How does that make sense?
And a lot of comedians are that way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But the thing with the craft, not only comedy, with the craft, when you're writing a sermon, when I write a sermon or a message, I don't just come out with it out of thin air. Mm-hmm. Paul always said, I buffet myself. I hit myself. I make fun of myself. I do this to myself before I tell you guys. Mm-hmm. Why? Because it has a much bigger root to what you're saying. It's a bigger truth.
A bigger impact.
You know? And I just find that interesting. I find that crazy. Like, these comedians are really going through it. Kevin Hart.
All of his comedies are about him.
Yeah.
It's what he's going through.
Yeah.
And if you heard his last one, he's talking about, you know, his whole situation with the mistress and all that. And I'm like, how can this guy make a joke out of it? No, seriously. Like, for real.
My wife will kill me.
Because I'm sure it was hard for him to talk about it. Mm-hmm.
Probably.
You know, but he makes fun of it. And that's how he eases his pain. And I just find that crazy. But any last words, gentlemen?
Man, just keep listening to this podcast because Juan got crazy ideas.
I got crazy ideas. So I always ask my special guests, and I don't think I've ever asked you. I think I did when I had you on. But imagine this. You're in your deathbed. All the people you love are surrounding you. Your mom, your wife,
Elon Musk,
your kids, Elon Musk. He's a huge Tesla fan. What are your final words to them? I know it's a deep one, but, you know.
It was a great ride.
It was a great ride. Man of little words. I love it. Sometimes.
I left it all out there.
Exactly. No regrets.
You know?
I love that.
It all out there.
As long as it's spelled right.
I love it.
No regrets.
I love it. I love it. How about you, Rob? Last words, man.
See you soon.
I love it. Well, thank you guys, Elevated Community, for taking the time to hear me, hear my special guests. I know that we aren't men of many knowledge, especially within relationships.
My wife would say no knowledge.
But I love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. To me, it's an honor. It's a privilege. I know for my guests as well. You get to sit down and listen to us for a couple of minutes or half an hour.
Well, I said
minutes.
a half hour. We're an hour in now.
It's been an hour.
That's why I love you guys. You guys tune in. But I love you guys. Thank you guys for tuning in. Rob, thank you so much. Julian, thank you so much for joining me in this adventure of an episode. I know we were supposed to do this virtually, but nothing beats in person. I love you guys. Take care. Let's crush it this week.